if you look at the continuum of therapeutic products, then you can see pharmaceutical drugs at one end, and you can see foods, the ultimate therapeutic good, at the other end. You feel fantastic when you eat, you're revitalised, you sleep better, all those sorts of things. So you've got foods at one end that offer therapy, and then drugs at the other. What happens is if you've got a stack of materials in between those two that generally aren't very clearly understood or thought of, and it includes herbal medicines, it includes other supplements like fish oils and so forth. And over the years, we've developed a structure where we have schools of dietetics and nutrition that look at food, and we've got schools of pharmacy and medicine that look at drugs and their activities. And we prescribe food in hospitals. We actually attend to what sort of foods a patient should have. And we do the same for medicines. But there's a vast wealth of practice and knowledge that sits in between the two that we don't have any structured approach to evaluating, understanding, assessing. And too often you get a very black and white perspective of, well, if it works, it's a drug. If it doesn't work, it's not a drug, it's not conventional medicine. Well, that's just not the case, because there are many, many therapeutic products that sit on the food end of the spectrum. And every country in the world regulates other forms of medicines than pharmaceutical drugs and have two-tier systems of regulation. So there's a recognition by the regulators. So more broadly, what is complementary medicine? Do we include it when we drink a cup of herbal tea, or if we have a regular massage? Is that part of complementary medicine? And this causes a real problem. David at the beginning talked about the proportion of people using complementary medicine in one form or another each year. The surveys vary hugely. Some surveys in the States have included focused prayer as a form of complementary medicine. Is it complementary if it's actually administered by a conventional regulated practitioner in the country? In France, acupuncture is a specialisation. In the US, osteopathy is a specialisation. In China, do you call it complementary? So calculating the size of this is a really difficult question. I was over in China just until last weekend for a couple of weeks, and even getting a handle of the extent of data in China, the extent of the market in Chinese medicine is extraordinary. We estimate it's about 200 billion turnover a year worldwide. The Chinese estimate it's about 800 billion worldwide, so it's a massive market. And in Australia, it's about 3.8 billion in the last year. It's just over a 4% growth in the last 5 years, which makes it the largest growing therapeutic modality. It's growing faster than pharmaceutical medicine. There are about 20 million consultations each year in complementary medicine generally, and there are up to 8,000 active practitioners. There are over 4,000 practitioners in Chinese medicine alone in Australia. You may not realise that Chinese medicine practice was regulated in July 2012 nationally. Australia is the first Western country to actually introduce regulation of Chinese medicine practice, so as to ensure safe practice, safe clinical standards of practice and appropriate education. Public health safety agenda is the thing that drives regulation of practice. This histogram just very simply shows you the purple column as being on the top side of the scale as being one of the most representing the more rapidly growing area of health manufacturing industry. And Dave introduced the issue of why people use it, and there are all sorts of ideas around this, and most of the work, sadly, is being done by sociologists, by medical sociologists who, the person's got a hammer in his hand, he's going to find a nail. The sociologist is going to find social theory that explains the use of complementary medicine. And some of those things are issues like, the values that a person has, the individual has, the fact that it empowers people to take control of their health, and they're all reasonably okay. But if there was anything that I've learned in 25 years of practice, is that patients are incredibly pragmatic. They come to you because there's an issue and they're not getting better, or they don't want the knife, or they don't want the drug for the next 5 years, whatever it might be. It's unbelievably pragmatic. They could be a right-wing fascist or a left-wing communist. It politics, their views on life are completely diverse. They're very pragmatic. And I think this is a important aspect of understanding why people use complementary medicine. We did a study of breast cancer patients some years back and looked at why they were using it and what they were using. And if you look at those few that are highlighted there, to boost the immune system, to reduce drug side effects, to prevent or delay the cancer returning, to reduce cancer symptoms, these are incredibly tangible, real, disease-focused aims for their use of complementary medicine. So it's not just about feeling good, it's not just about wanting more energy, those sorts of things. They're very targeted to their treatment. If we don't deal with it, that's where we end up. So there's a big utilisation and a big demand. So how do we build the evidence base? How do we construct the right evidence to get better integration, better adoption? There's enormous interest in getting good guidance. Every GP, specialist, particularly oncologists are faced with this. Patients ask, what about such and such treatment? How do you deal with that response? Research is really important. So 2 in 3 Australians are using complementary medicine. In some cases, those breast cancer patients, 9 in 10 breast cancer patients use complementary medicine for some aspect specifically related to their condition. So if the utilisation is that high, how are we dealing with it? How are we dealing with it in an informed way? This is the way. There's the scale of research that's funded by the NHMRC. Yes, it's the red bottom line there. And I'll expand that in case you can't see it. So out of 100% of funding that the NHMRC gets, it on average is 0.2%. Very, very low. This is the expanded peak. On the right-hand side, you'll see it went up to 0.45% at one stage. This was under the direction of Tony Abbott when he was Health Minister. In fact, he mandated that there was a targeted call for research in complementary medicine to build up the capacity in this area and to understand and to start some of the research that was needed. And so that happened. So as consumers, this is what we're faced with. We don't know where we're going for our medicines, how to choose them, how to choose the right complementary medicine when we need one. Do you choose glucosamine if you've got knee joint pain? Do you use the sulfate? Do you use chondroitin? What do you do? Do you use fish oils if you've got heart problems? Is it preventive? Is it secondary prevention? All of these questions are hard to address, and you're challenged constantly by ads like this. Pomegranate. I mean, this is great. It's so funny. It didn't last very long in the States, but this is the marketers are there to push the boundaries, and they'll do it all the time wherever they can. So dealing with that, you've got to be informed about how you get your complementary medicines. Most of it, about 50%, happens. The consultation and sale happens in the pharmacy. So that's at least a good start. But most pharmacists and pharmacy assistants are also running blind. They don't have the data. We don't have product information. We don't have consumer medicines information in the inserts, in the link to the product. So it's actually very hard for consumers and clinicians to know what the evidence is. And this is part of what we're trying to fix in the National Institute. So I'm going to talk about the National Institute for a few moments. How am I going for time?
You have around 2 minutes.
Okay. We're 50 to 55 people at the moment. We've grown from just one a little while ago, but we're doing well. We have, I don't know if you're aware, there's a Commonwealth ranking system for research in Australia. It's called the Excellence in Research for Australia system. It's run by the ARC. We actually have the top ranking of 5. We're the only group in complementary medicine who are eligible for evaluation, and 5 means you're performing at well above world standard in your sector. And it's based on citations, impact, and policy, and so forth. The work that we do is completely bench to bedside. We have a lot of preclinical work. Excuse me. We have a TGA licensed laboratory so that we can certify, test, develop the methods for complex herbal medicines. We developed that because when we were doing clinical trials, we really wanted to ensure that we had a very good handle on clinical profile of what was being used, complex as it might be. And so we do the preclinical analytical work, a lot of preclinical pharmacology. We have access to animal facilities. We've got a lot of benchtop pharmacology in EC2 labs. We do clinical trials. Every year we've got at least 5 or 6 happening at any one time. About half of them run by Two of the trials, a 3-herb formulation on vascular dementia is just finishing a 16-hospital clinical trial in China. We're about to start a large multi-centre trial in Australia. It will be a phase 3 study. There's been enormous work done in the last 10 years on this formulation. There's no current pharmaceutical for it. With ischemic stroke, we've also got a single herb ingredient that we're actually developing and taking to trial now as well. That's only a phase 2 trial. We are tapping into about 2% of what is used in the Chinese hospitals and in China, and the amount of research, the scale up that's happening in China in terms of the evidence base around these is phenomenal. And I was just saying to David that within 5-10 years we will see prescription herbal medicines used in Australia for niche indications that don't have current intervention, or maybe offer a better treatment. These are the sort of trials we do, or we've done. I'm just going to fly through some things. We talked briefly about early prior to the meeting about tailoring of treatment. One of the things that's particularly nuanced to complementary medicine is that people, the diagnosis is, the process is slightly different. The prescribing is tailored to the individual, and so one of the big challenges is how do you standardise intervention for all patients with a particular condition. And we've done a number of trials in this area where we've actually set it up so it's thoroughly blinded, so that evaluators, practitioners, patients are all blinded to the intervention, and we've used standard treatment, placebo treatment, and tailored treatment. So I won't go into explaining it all, but it's been very well controlled and tested for blinding. And we've actually found in this particular case, for example, that at the end of the intervention period, 16 weeks, the standard and individualised treatment were very similar in effect. But when we did the follow-up 3 months later, in fact, those that had received the tailored treatment sustained their improvement over that time compared to those that received the standard treatment. Should I say that the right way around? Those that received the individualised treatment maintained their improvement compared to those that received the standard. So there are lots of ways in which we're testing some of the characteristics of complementary medicine. I'm just going to go through this. Cost-effective studies, we do these.